If anything, I've only seen them progress.
Because either way, they're going to continue to do what they got to do. So
there's nothing in their ear or on their shoulders, because the world is already on this shoulder. I don't need a girl that's going to be on this shoulder. If anything, help push me up. Yeah. But a lot of girls want to sit on top of you. And it's like, right. Bitch, the world is heavy too. And I can't juggle all of this shit at once.
I have a quick question. So obviously women are getting married much later. And you stated that, you know, as a man, you feel the weight of the world. You don't have a person to complain to or whatever. I feel like that's just an adult thing. Because if you a woman and you are unmarried, ain't nobody here to share your burden. I'll give you a perfect example. I was with my homegirl the other week when I was in Houston. We were out, and she was like, man, at this point, I just need somebody to split these responsibilities with, because, like, life is hard.
And how old is she? Sorry to cut you off.
She's younger than me. I don't know, late 30s.
Okay. And did she tell you how many men she rejected so far?
I mean, was she seeing somebody? And like, matter of fact, the way we met is because like she used to date somebody, like a friend of mine, somebody I went to school with. But I feel like I know a good number of single, whether they're divorced or not, or never been married, but single women who don't have anybody to rely on. So that whole, I just got to keep it pushing, I kind of think that's more of like an adult thing. And I think having that weight probably comes with, if you have a spouse and you feel like you have to like take that on.
Well, I would say, as a man, we're already expected to take it on with or without you.
Right.
But take what on? Like
life.
Your own shit?
Yeah, life, bills. I'm never, as a man, and I'm, since a kid, me and every man that was a role model and or adult figure in my life has never said, hey, when you become an adult, you know, there's gonna be a woman who's gonna help split these bills and take some of this burden off of you. Ever. There was never, like, in my...
Ain't nobody saying that to women.
But what I'm saying is...
It's happening.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody saying that to women.
But what I'm saying...
Mothers are telling their daughters, don't depend on a man.
No, but what I'm saying...
You need to be able to get it out.
But what I'm saying is...
You just said your friend said she's looking for somebody to split everything.
Because, like, at some point in time...
No one's telling her that.
No, we're not saying... Okay, so listen.
I don't like her, and I don't even know.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is, as a man, our brain is programmed to accept full responsibility and never search for an outlet.
Right.
Right? We're never going to search for the help of our spouse unless you actually have to.
All the 50-50 conversation and people ain't searching for help.
I don't like that.
All the 50-50 niggas out here. I
just want to finish what I'm saying first. That's all I want to do.
The thing is that what you're saying doesn't make
sense.
No,
it does and it will. It does and it will. So what I'm saying is, when a man can find, like, a man's goal and aspiration is to be able to take the weight of the house and the cost of living. That is a man's ultimate goal. When a man can do that, that's when he himself has been told or programmed that he's a man. Mm-hmm. So if I can do it, perfectly fine. I'm great. Like, now I feel, you know what I'm saying? I feel more entitled to have that man title ownership. When it comes to a woman who's now in her late 30s, or a woman who's now in her early 40s, or whatever the case, as an adult woman, she's like, damn, she can still look around. And even though there's a lot of 50-50 conversations going on, she can still look around and see a lot of different women not paying those bills. She can see a lot of women still raving and saying how they don't do this. I know I can't look at a lot of men and say, hey, listen, I can see a lot of men saying, yo, my wife pays 50% of this. I still don't see a lot of that, Despite the conversations that's happening, I still don't see nowhere near where I realize that it's actually more. It's more probable than it's not. Almost 70% of couples split. Yeah, but
put the camera on the stat.
So this stat, I don't know if Alan's gonna put it right here or where, says that almost 70%. I don't have my contacts in.
70% of couples split rent 50-50.
But that stat also is missing one key factor, and that factor is that those couples make roughly the same amount between the male and the female. We're not talking about all couples. We're not talking about the man who's making $250,000 and the woman that's making $50,000, if she's even working, by the way. $70,000 a year, right? And $70,000 a year looks different in a lot of places, but it's also super obtainable in a lot of places. $70,000 in New Jersey, New York, you ain't getting nothing.
That ain't nothing.
$70,000 in Alabama or New Orleans, you getting something. And still the cost of living in majority of the places in the US is well beneath that. There's only 5 really expensive states in this country. So if I make $45,000 and I live in Alabama, do I have a decent life?
These days, maybe not. Shit.
Alabama?
Yes, Alabama. If I live in Georgia, not Atlanta, if I live in Georgia and I make $45,000, do I not have a decent life?
Yes.
If I live in Nebraska and I make $45,000, do I not have? If I live in Michigan, which I do know, and I make $45,000, do I not have it? My point is that even if I'm making the median income a year of $45,000, I can most likely afford at least a spouse. I'm not saying a kid, but at least a spouse, especially in most of the states of this country. So the question, realistically, what I'm gathering is, should women set the expectation that upon marriage they're looking to be provided for 100%? And with that being said, should men make a more conscious effort of getting things together before they get married to this woman? And then also on the flip end, are women even realistic with today's time and economy? And also their own value, do they even qualify, or does this ideology even qualify?
Was that your question, Alan? You're lying.
That's what I gathered.
I don't want a woman that I have to be wealthy for to have her. That's not something I want. I got to know that you there when I'm fucked up and when I got it. I don't believe in 50-50. If I got it, I'm going to pay it. If I fall on my face, I need your help. 50-50, we not meeting every month, 50-50. I'm going to pay it. And if I get fucked up, you got to be able to step up. There ain't no 50-50. I don't understand that.
I have a question. So right now, Alan, with women getting married later, obviously that has a lot to do with, being in school longer, working, dating pool being, unacceptable, whatever. As you get older, I would say as you get older, it's reasonable to believe that you are more settled financially and you're okay. So you're not necessarily looking for a provider in that sense. Because all these years you've been providing for yourself. You know the level that you can live at. You know the luxuries you can afford. You know what you can't afford. So you know how to provide for yourself, right? So I think there is, and I remember I mentioned the 4B movement. There are more women these days, and I'd probably say it starts with millennials, go on down to whatever these kids are today. Alpha. So from millennials to Gen Alpha, these women are more so looking for EQ. They're looking for somebody that has, emotional intelligence.
I think it's not.
I think there is a new order, but I also think that it's going to take men maybe another generation or two to figure that out. Because men, like Rico just said, men are very much still stuck on now I can call myself a man because I can provide. But that ain't what the women are looking for.